Use code CDotty when you making your account. CDotty.
Like, no matter what you do, if you put it on the internet, someone's gonna hate it. Like, no matter what, someone's gonna hate it. But it's fun. Like, I get to have fun. Like, I'm here, and I get to do this, so I don't care. They're on the internet. It doesn't matter.
What's YouTube? It's your boy CDotty. Today, we got Next Poll, the re-uploaded version sent in the Discord. Hey, man, you send stuff in the Discord, we'll react to it. Simple as that. I don't know why some people have been having problems sending in the Discord. I don't know why. I guess you can just send it in general or some shit and add me, I guess. I don't know. On the road to 100,000 PO box in the description. I don't know if I'm going to post this on the main channel or second channel. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Shout out Next Poll, man. He drops straight bangers. Let's dim the lights a little bit. Let's get into it. Let's get spooky. Let's get spooky. The fuck am I looking at, Mike Wayne?
Thursday.
I don't like how I'm looking.
Wayne Kernigan was stuck at home during an excruciatingly long winter.
Hold on, where we at? February 78. Where we at? Minnesota?
Wayne Kernigan was stuck at home during an excruciatingly long winter. He was what his parents believed to be a problem child, experiencing nightmares, arguing with his 7 siblings, and getting in trouble at school. His parents' method of punishment wasn't the best, having gone on record to state that his father beats him with hockey sticks.
Damn!
It was undeniable that their humble abode in suburban Connecticut was less of a place of refuge for him, and more of a cell of torment. The phone rings in the kitchen, and his mom answers.
Nigga, your dad hit you, start beating you with a hockey stick. Nigga, you gotta damn near defend yourself, bro. I ain't even gonna lie.
It's from a school up north called Alon. The man on the phone says that Wayne should come right away, and that they'll have a private jet waiting for him at Danbury Airport. His mom tells him not to worry, and that it's more of an outdoor camp type thing that'll make him better. According to the flyer she read, it was proven with a 95% success rate, and their alumni were all leaving as better people than when they first arrived there. Counselors, psychiatrists, activities, friends, Alon had it all, he was told. And so Wayne packed up his stuff that night. Eager, sure. Nervous, yes. But absolutely awaiting.
Hold on, wait, my bad, y'all, my bad, guy.
And that it's more of an outdoor camp. Airport says that it's from a school up north called Alon. The man on the phone says that Wayne should come right away, and that they'll have a private jet waiting for him at Danbury.
A private jet?
Airport. His mom tells him not to worry, and that it's more of an outdoor camp type thing that'll make him better. According to the flyer she read, it was proven with a 95% success rate, and their alumni were all leaving as better people than when they first arrived there. Counselors, psychiatrists.
So don't wait, so he just gets a random call, said, we're gonna get your son on a private jet to come to this boarding school? What? And y'all sent them off.
Activities, friends. Alon had it all, he was told. And so Wayne packed up his stuff that night. Eager, sure. Nervous, yes. But absolutely awaiting the things to come.
Next, but what's about to happen? Are we in Portland?
The plane touches down in Portland, Maine. 2 men greet him.
I thought it was a private jet, now it's a plane?
After embarking for the school 30 minutes north in Poland, his escorts inquire on why he was sent there.
Drugs?
Nope.
Court order?
No.
So why the hell are you going?
They joke. And then things get quiet. It was at this moment when Wayne began to question whether he was going to the place he thought he was. Something didn't seem right, but he was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. The two pull off a back, wooded road into a clearing. Looks like a camp, he thinks.
So strike number one, they said private jet, and you get on a plane. two niggas greet you. They asking you questions. Nigga, you supposed to be on a bus. Where's the other students? It's like it's hella red flags. It's hella red flags that this nigga don't give a fuck.
However,
I mean, I guess he's a kid though, right?
he exits the vehicle. He isn't greeted with the silent serenity of nature, but instead, the screaming.
Did y'all hear? Did y'all hear screaming or? That's all I heard. Let me try to see if I can hear screaming. Let me turn this up a little bit.
Of nature. However, when he exits the vehicle, he isn't greeted with the silent serenity of nature, but instead, the screaming. The 1970s were an interesting time. Across the United States, a rise in for-profit behavior modification facilities were in action. Now called the troubled teen or tough love industry, it seemed to be a money machine aimed at altering and stifling troublesome behavior in adolescents. The exact data is hard to gauge due to the widely varying nature of the names, motives, and specialties of each of these schools, but they were widespread and only became more so throughout the 80s. It's widely believed that the parental reception to the era's youth were the catalyst for facilities like this. Given that this was the decade following the rise of the hippie subculture, authority was and had been challenged for years, resulting in a sort of panic among older generations. Resultingly, in early 1970, a psychiatrist named Gerald Davidson, alongside investor David Goldberg and a man named Joseph Ritchie, would band together to create a school named Elan, a private co-ed behavior modification program geared from grade 8 to beyond high school. Ritchie built the facility as one that would correct bad behavior by teens without punishment, while painting himself as a genuine mentor that could help make that happen. Sitting on 33 acres of land, mentor that could help make that.
Weekday schedules begin 8 a.m. with showers, cleaning dorm rooms, and breakfast. Bro, I hated sharing showers, bro, in the dorm. That's another reason why I had to drop out, bro. That shit was bad, bro. Especially with some randoms, like, and niggas walk in there, bro, I couldn't do it, bro. From 9 a.m. to 4:30 is rotations of jobs, functioning, physical education, group, individual sessions. This seems like administrative meetings. Like this sounds pretty normal. Elan's life skills. What did I say? Curriculum? I don't know what letter this is right here. Also runs during the day. This teaches students how to effectively communicate with others and how to develop the skills required for responsible living.
Happen.
It's a normal schedule.
Sitting on 33 acres of land off of number 5 Road.
No lunch though.
Poland, Maine. Elan's main campus was highly secluded and a long shot from any outside civilization.
This is y'all campus? Oh hell no. This look like niggas get hung over here. No cap.
With numerous facilities in place, the school was well equipped
in
to
GTA.
Handle a student body in the hundreds, and within the span of just 1 year, they'd eventually meet that metric. Numerous alumni, much like Wayne, have gone on record to state that their initial
Fuck no, this is a college, nigga? Like the trenches.
outside impression
Not even really the trenches, actually. This is when you upgrade from the trenches.
of the school was that it was like a summer camp in the Maine woods. However, upon arrival, reality would paint a different picture.
Like, this not bad. Like, if it was a house, it's not bad housing. Like you have space in these bitches, but like for a school, fuck no. Nigga, you're not getting no hoes out here, bro. I promise you, no hoes is coming here. Like, you're gonna walk outside to down the street to another house to go to class.
Allegedly, the final minutes of the trip there were unforgettable, with Alon being shrouded down a long dirt road in the middle of the wilderness and made up of rundown trailers and buildings, giving it a frightening feeling of dread.
This was 2020 to 5.
Furthermore, some have stated that once they exit the vehicle expecting a lively campground, they're instead faced with a sight much stranger. Some students were spotted wearing degrading signs, some shackled in handcuffs, some being yelled at, and bizarrely, everyone would just pretend it's normal.
Why the fuck is my...
At this point, it's been noted that some students attempt to flee. They weren't entirely sure what the Alon school was, but it was clear to them that it wasn't good. These escape efforts were always futile though.
Why is there a stair going right to a window? You walk up the stairs right through a window. This is not a door. Nothing. There's no way this is a door. Look at this shit. Got them same things on the side, just like, yeah, this is a window. They got stairs to a window. The door's down here.
Station guards around the campus to chase and subdue outliers.
What, they got 2 front doors? Come on now.
Would attempt this. Considering how the school was marketed, touting itself as an altruistic institution genuinely concerned with helping troubled teenagers get better, it was clear from the outside that those claims were a reach. But just how far would they take that? What most students were unaware of was that behind their back, a deal was made on their behalf. With nothing but a simple signature and payment, parents could sign their child's life over to Alon, which advertised itself as a positive, reaffirming center of growth. According to an excerpt from an early 2000s archive of their website, we can observe the vernacular they used to appeal to each parent. Dear parents, we're very aware of how lonely and confused you must feel as you sit down to read this. If you're like the parents of most of our students, you're faced with an adolescent whose behavior is out of control and you don't know why. A youngster who's been given everything and is throwing it all away is difficult to understand, but you can see that this process is progressive. The most saddening part is knowing that your offspring is ruining his or her future. Your own pain is difficult.
So when parents want an easy way out, this is what they send this is the school they send their kids to, basically. And they're getting fucked over at this school. Okay.
But your pain for your child is unbearable. By coming to Alon, you have come to a truly different school. We can't offer you miracles, but we can offer you hope. We know that your journey to this point has been painful. We hope Alon can change its course. On top of this, school staff were known to hand out flyers to parents while persuading them that their child just might be troubled. It's been noted that Joseph Ritchie was somewhat of a salesman. He was charismatic and excelled at convincing parents of all the good that Alon could do for their kids. The good that, as we'll soon find, was all a lie.
But I thought they said they had people coming out of that school.
That Wayne's Alon admission story was on
I thought they had graduates and shit.
The lighter side. For most of the other students, things were handled a bit more violently. Instead of a plane, school alumni have gone on record to state that they were transported by van. Reportedly, once your parents agreed to send you off to Alon and pay the $50,000 tuition fee, they designate a time and date with Alon's so-called teen escort
You'll pay $50,000 for that? Oh, hell no.
service. They wouldn't pick you up during the day though. Instead, in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep, they would bust through your door and kidnap you. In years past, Alon's staff have stated that since the child has no say in attending, their capture hinges on the element of surprise. According to a blog named Suzuki's Thoughts, The abduction process involves 2 men breaking into the teens' bedroom, physically subduing them, tying them up with plastic handcuffs, throwing them into a van, and then driving them to Poland, Maine, where they'd be handed over to the Elan school. Such experiences often traumatize the teens who were abducted. For all they knew at first, they were being taken by criminals to be held ransom.
So the parents signed them up, and this how they get took in there?
Tortured, or
at
worse,
first? What type
killed.
of shit is that?
For the girls, it was even more terrifying. Some girls later recalled that they believed that they were going to be
Raped, sexually assaulted.
and murdered by their abductors. One certainly can't blame the kids for thinking this way. Such practices had all the hallmarks of a violent kidnapping.
I'm liking this
This
light,
practice
bro.
became notorious around the United States, eventually earning its nickname, the Elan Snatch. If this were any indication, it was clear that morality wasn't the school's strong suit. But that ultimately begs the question, would it stop there? Or was their torment only just beginning?
It's only the beginning. God is in it. Destination Elan.
Day
Chapter
1.
2.
Students would typically arrive to Elan during the early morning hours of the day. Due to the nature of their transport to campus, they were often known to resist their escorts. It's been noted that their capture was designed this way, utilizing their escape attempt against them as a tool to convey that no matter what, they're not getting out of there. And with this came the first steps of dehumanization, instilling the feeling that their basic rights have been robbed of them, in turn making them feel like less of a student and more like a prisoner. This sentiment was taken even further when they're physically taken inside the school. Often, the first stop would be the dormitory showers, which served as a tool.
And look, this is 1978. No phones, nothing. You can't even let your fucking parents know what you're going through.
Robbing each student of their sense of individuality. Reportedly, students are thrown into them with absolutely no privacy and are demanded to remove all of their clothing and valuable items. After complying, they're given what Elan calls no-image clothing, which, as the name implies, simply includes a bland, colorless shirt and pants, effectively forcing them into a state of conformity. Following this, each new student would be taken into a common area where they're assigned what Elan calls a big brother. This, in essence, was a tenured student designated to be a guide. On paper, they were told to help their students adjust to their new life on campus, somewhat like a peer, while educating them on how great and effective the program is. In reality, though, this relationship was far from friendly.
Bro, the kids can't at least stick together, bro.
It's been reported that big brothers would often try to deceive their newer counterparts, enticing them to run away or to break the rules. If the student had ever agreed or attempted to listen to this, their behavior would be reported to school staff, resulting in punishment. As we've seen in studies like the Stanford prison experiment, I'm sure you can see why this would be a bad idea. Oftentimes, big brother figures, much like staff, would take great pleasure in exerting their superiority over the newer students. It fulfilled them in a way.
Bro, aren't y'all all getting fucked over? Why can't y'all come together and take the shit down on some Stranger Things shit, bro?
That was almost cult-like.
Who left the TV on?
Just will not be tolerated.
Nobody else think about getting a grip on it, man. Nobody responsibility. Never clean the bathroom this morning, man. Yeah, you should remember next time. Cause it's off the wall. I guess you clean out the showers too. Every one of them uses the showers. Just being irresponsible.
This nigga wrote the bus with 7 people.
If you want to act like a baby, you get screamed at. If you want to act as more like a mature adolescent, you get talked to.
Hold on, wait. They actually might have. I thought they was acting.
Speaking of cults, the social hierarchy at Elan is structured in a way that heavily resembles one. At the school, students are immediately placed into two categories. Strengths, which were tenured, obedient students that were a few steps up the totem pole, and non-strengths, the newer ones who typically resisted treatment. Strengths were allowed to talk to fellow strengths and non-strengths. Non-strengths, on the other hand, were only permitted to communicate with strengths. If a non-strength were caught communicating with a non-strength, harsh punishment would soon greet them. The Elan School, as we've established, thrives on the feeling of hopelessness. Throughout students' tenures there, they were forbidden to contact anyone from the outside world unless they've earned the privilege through good behavior and compliance. Every single phone line from campus would run through a single switchboard located in this small trailer, and it was heavily guarded because of that.
Heavily guarded, that's what I'm saying. Look, if y'all stick together, y'all can come up with a plan over time and make a phone call and report this shit. But nah, big brothers or whatever y'all call them niggas want to be hoes. Y'all niggas don't stick together. All y'all some dumbass. Oh, I think these are like, damn. I don't know. I think these are like, I don't want to say disabled kids, but fucking misbehave. A little slower than normal.
If a student were to gain the privilege of contacting their family,
probably not even thinking about sticking together.
Heavily monitored, only permitted to praise the school for all the good it's done to help them during their time there. If they ever were to be caught telling the truth or revealing the atrocities that occur behind the scenes, they were quickly disconnected, reprimanded, and robbed of any future potential to use the phone lines ever again. On top of the phone manipulation, every Elan resident was required to write what the school calls a guilt letter, which, as you might expect, is an explanation of how great the Elan school is for them, all the great activities they do there, and how well they're progressing through the program. These letters would be heavily scrutinized before
I love Jews written on the board
being mailed out to their
it says fuck
parents.
Fuck something. Stooges.
Effectively, this tactic's goal was twofold.
Now, what did it say fuck?
These letters would be heavily
what are we fucking here?
Fuck night.
Fuck first place? Fuck
before being mailed out to their parents.
I don't know.
Effectively, this tactic's goal was twofold: to allow Elan's facade to remain in place, and to entice their parents to spend more money on their treatment, in turn keeping them there even longer than they had ever planned to. In reality, students were helpless, being abused, and, in most cases, verbally tortured at the pleasure of the Elan school staff. It was clear to students that they weren't getting away from this anytime soon, and after realizing this, their minds would often pivot away from rebellion and towards compliance in hopes of powering through the program. This drove most of them to become somewhat brainwashed, ultimately stuck in a system that will do everything it possibly can to make their escape impossible.
What is going to happen here? What else can happen other than that? Oh.
As you might expect, the rules at the Elan school were immense. Exerting nearly totalitarian control over everything that happens, Joe Ritchie's set of rules, which he called guilt, was gargantuan and needlessly meticulous. As a student at Elan, you would be expected to refrain from doing the following: having any image, reading as a non-strength, not completing learning
reading as a non-strength? But that's some of the dumbest shit I ever seen. And I guess a non-strength is a younger person or a new person, one of them two. Not completing
experiences, writing without permission.
You can't write without permission? What the fuck am I looking at? What type of school is this and y'all sending y'all kids to? Being sideways.
Being sideways, looking at security zones.
What do you mean being sideways?
Non-strength interact.
Looking at security zones.
Talking too loudly.
Oh, so that's why Y'all, they couldn't talk to each other. Look at this, non-strength interacting. They couldn't speak to each other. Wow, nah, this school is actually, these niggas need to damn near die. This staff damn near need to die. I'm not gonna say death penalty yet, but they damn near need to die, bro. That is crazy. Niggas couldn't talk to each other. Then y'all sent these niggas to jail and taking their parents' money.
Talking too softly. Looking
Look at this shit.
at the opposite gender.
And y'all like men. And y'all fucking like boys. Y'all wanted a fucking just gay shit everywhere. Y'all couldn't even look at the opposite sex. Y'all wanted to brainwash these niggas into just staring at men. It's only men on this earth. It's only men. Dick. Like, damn. That is insane, bro.
Being attracted to someone. Any physical contact. Looking out windows.
Being attracted to someone. Any physical contact, looking out windows. What? Unauthorized drawing. Okay, we get it. Niggas can't draw. We get it.
Unauthorized drawing. Not listening to higher ranks. Pretending to sleep at night. Thinking of running away. Being in...
How do you know I can't think? How you know what I'm thinking? Bitch? Pretending to sleep at night. Being in the bathroom for too long. Nigga, if my shit is taking this time, nigga, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that shit to drop.
In the bathroom for too long. Wearing dark clothing. Being manipulative. Being lazy while working. Listening to music.
I can see that pussy from my way, shit. You got that my money by my way. Stack it. Like, I can't listen to that while I'm working. Y'all wonder why I'm being lazy while working. I can't listen to Thugger.
Talking too much. Showering for more than...
Or back then y'all listen to flashlight.
3 minutes. Not talking enough.
Showering for more than 3 minutes.
Making facial reactions to...
You can't shower for more than 3 minutes, my nigga? 3 minutes? Yeah, y'all need to chair, bro.
Orders. Negative body language. Pretending not to have guilt. Oversleeping. Undersleeping. Smiling. And the list goes on and on. Clearly,
you can't smile. I'll beat the staff ass.
These rules were not designed to be followed, causing harsh penalizations to become commonplace. To help enforce these, individuals known as expediters were designated by the school to stand on watch with clipboards. Primarily, they were known to catch those that broke 3 rules: being attracted to members of the opposite gender, looking at the opposite gender, and making prolonged eye contact with anyone else. Since expediters too were required to fill their clipboards with names and infractions at the risk of their own punishment, they frequently and unapologetically made assumptions and accusations that were a lie.
So the staff had to,
as you'd expect,
get named?
Punishment varied pretty heavily at Elan, and not in a good way. One example involved requiring a group of students to live in a dumpster for over 2 weeks. The expediter watching them was tasked with ensuring compliance and preventing any attempt to escape. If their subordinates acted out, however, the expediter on duty would be forced to live in the dumpster with them while being monitored by yet another who was up to the task. Another major tactic at Elan was humiliation. They figured that by breaking down their social barrier, forcing students into extreme embarrassment, they could drive them to a point of total compliance. Those who tried to escape were often labeled as a split risk, and their punishment for doing so was confiscation of their shoelaces and the requirement to wear a bright yellow t-shirt and short pink shorts. The school figured that without laces, their shoes were effectively useless, in turn preventing any ability to move any faster than a walk. A more extreme example of a split...
They took niggas' shoelaces, bro.
...risk punishment is shown with this student. Instead of a t-shirt and shorts though, he was forced to wear a bright pink rabbit suit with cuffs around his legs.
So I wonder how much, so he probably got in there late because they got all these rules. So that means somebody didn't try to break these rules. So they had to make some rules for those rules. Like, nigga, cause like, who's just, Hold on, let me go back.
More extreme example of a split risk punishment.
Who's just going to take niggas' shoelaces off so they don't run away faster? So make them slower. Who's just going to do that? That mean hella niggas was running away. So it says, fuck it, nigga. Take niggas' shoelaces.
Is shown with this student. Instead of a t-shirt and shorts though, he was forced to wear a bright pink rabbit suit with cuffs around his legs. It's unclear if this is a repeat offender, but it raises the question as to how far Alon would actually go with this tactic. Students that smiled at a place were punished by wearing dunce caps and reduced to work that the school calls shot down. These involved repetitious, dull tasks like mopping floors, scrubbing the insides of trash cans, and even cleaning toilets with just a single toothbrush for hours and hours on end. If you had to use the bathroom during shutdown, it's been noted that approval by sometimes 6 or more superiors was required before you were able. And even then, an escort had to watch you while you were in there. This, on top of a myriad of other degrading punishments like humiliating sign-in diaper wearing, it's clear that Alon kept an iron grip on their daily operations. Their daily operations that took up most of the daily schedule, and those that were deceptively named by the Alon school.
I hope this not the exercise they were doing. I hope this is not the drills y'all was doing, bro.
Themselves as their treatment. But I will say, all of these punishments are relatively tame compared to what we're about to talk about. Let's just say, if you pissed off a staff member, they could start something called a general meeting on you. And trust me, you wouldn't want one. There seemed to be no standard for them. They would just happen at random multiple times each day. If staff were annoyed or felt like targeting a specific student for some reason, they could call a general meeting at any time. Once these words were uttered, everyone in the building would be required to gather in front of the student in whichever room they were in. "Get your feelings off," the administrator screams. And following this, each student in the room would begin screaming at and berating the student, firing off slurs and obscenities for nearly an hour long. No matter how much the student pled for everyone to stop, no matter how much they broke down.
An hour long, bro. Y'all niggas is down bad. The fuck I look like joning a nigga for a whole hour. He don't even, he just have like a whole bunch of jumbo. It gotta get to a point, nigga, I'll just stop giving a fuck what y'all niggas are saying. Like, bro, come on now. An hour, y'all niggas is still going.
No matter how much they cried, general meetings would not end until the admin said so. And when it finally did, the victim would lie there, often crying and exhausted at the relentless abuse that they'd just endured. It's clear that general meetings aren't designed to reprimand. They're designed to completely break each and every student that's the subject of one. And with this, we can effectively put the points together that Alon was doing nothing more than running an operation that commanded total compliance. Any self-thought or sliver of independence that students thought they had was gone. They were merely reduced to weapons. Weapons that, at a moment's notice, could just as easily be used against them. 7 p.m. Contrary to his focus on academia and outside marketing, school time within Alon was secondhand to the students' treatment. Typically, the time frame for learning was 7 to 11 p.m., but sometimes could run longer. As you might expect, there were no extracurriculars, no physical education, no projects, no legitimate exams, nothing. Instead, students were required to grade themselves on work that they were self-assigned with absolutely no direction. The structure of class typically involved a staff member supervising a room full of children. Each night of learning involved completing work out of freshman-level textbooks, which, unsurprisingly for a group of teenagers, would be immensely uneventful. Given that class time was after a long day full of verbal abuse, monotonous tasks, and a hierarchy system that does nothing but suffocate the lower classes, students dozing off and losing track of their work was expected. Curiously, school time too was regarded as a privilege at Elan. Joe Ritchie has gone on record to state that the class schedule itself was designed this way on purpose.
I don't get how people say that, because I'm pretty sure in the beginning they said it have good reviews or whatever, people graduating, coming out of there. Like, they don't have no story. They didn't tell their parents or nothing. I'm lost.
Allegedly, he believes students were easier to control while sleep deprived and utilized even this as a medium to work against them. By 11 p.m., if a student makes it through a night of work without issue, school hours then draw to a close. They're quickly released from class and escorted to their dorms, which were often in the form of uncomfortable, impersonal, military-styled bunk beds. Sleep was known to be difficult, as designated students named night owls were assigned to stand guard with flashlights. In regular intervals, they'd shine them on the sleeping students to both ensure that they hadn't escaped and to secure the fact that they're actually asleep. A requirement that, as we can recall, was also in the list of Elan's rules. And if one actually manages to calm their nerves, dozing off into their only time of tranquility, that would allow them to effectively place the cap on a day in the nightmare. That is Elan.
Niggas are being watched while I'm asleep? Like, bro. These niggas need to die.
House, wake up.
And then you get to do it all over again. A notorious aspect of Elan, among everything else that happened there, was something called the Ring. Considered the highest level of punishment, Elan staff could make the call to start the Ring at any time. The structure was set up similar to that of a general meeting, and was typically commenced when school staff believed that the punishment wasn't harsh enough for a specific student. In the Ring, a student's designated as a bully and is outfitted with a face guard and gloves. Surrounding them are troves of others that are commanded to scream and yell obscenities at them. While this is taking place, specific students will be chosen to compete against the bully in numerous fistfights until school staff decided that they were sufficiently injured. No one was safe from the Ring either. Some bore pre-existing injuries, some were much smaller than their opponent, and some were even pregnant. Even worse, things seemed to be treated like a game, with superiors commentating on the matches like they were on TV. In reality though, this was the furthest thing from TV. This was handcrafted abuse.
Live action, like
Elan was meticulous about
a fucking
orchestrating
show.
fights for the Ring too. It's been noted that certain students would regularly be punished for another's actions, effectively engineering anger between them. This was often noticed between big brothers and their subordinates, as they'd be punished for the actions of their newer counterparts.
It's like they getting everybody just to hate on everybody, so it's just bad. Nobody, they can't be friends with each other. They can't build a bond because they can't talk to each other.
And once they were angry enough, a ring fight would commence, often injuring students so badly that they'd sustain permanent brain damage, PTSD, and even death.
What? Wait, what?
This was often noticed between big brothers and their subordinates, as they'd be punished for the actions of their newer counterparts. And once they were angry enough, a ring fight would commence, often injuring students so badly that they'd sustain permanent brain damage, PTSD, and even death.
What is a ring fight?
It costs $17,400.
Death. Niggas is dying here, and the school is still going, getting more people. Website still up. The fuck was going on in the 70s?
To send the average youngster to Elan for 1 year. Even at that price, there are judges, social workers, and parents who consider it a bargain. Elan's defenders claim it has the most consistently effective program for salvaging young people who who are too difficult for other facilities to handle. So many states want to use Elan that there's a waiting list. But on the other hand, one state agency in Massachusetts will no longer send their youngsters here because they object to the way the children are treated. One reason is the use of physical punishment. Joe, you make no bones about it. There is corporal punishment here at Elan. Tell us about it. What are the stages it comes in? Who's it administered by?
Well, it's administered by the kids, first of all. Corporal, it's a harsh term. Okay, what it is we have the ring, okay, which everybody misinterprets. It's not a boxing ring, it's a ring of human people. The bully is introduced as what he is. In this corner is the bully who's trying to turn this facility into a detention center, okay? And in this corner is the house champion who's going to show him why it can't be done. And that's exactly how it does. And we never allow the bully to win.
But girls get put in the ring, too.
Well, girls bully as well as boys do. I mean, you know, we're a equal rights facility. We also use spanking, which is symbolic. Okay.
Wait, but how is niggas dying off of that? The niggas beating them to death? And he's hitting girls, too? Whoever the house leader or whoever the fuck you said is? The heavyweight champion?
And it's a last resort. Okay, and it's one resident spanking another resident, and it's done with a ping pong paddle. Okay, and usually a person won't get spanked more than once or twice, but it's a symbolic thing, which is if you're going to act like a baby, you should be treated like a baby.
On December 27th, 1982, a 15-year-old Elan student named Philip Williams was placed into the ring. He wasn't the largest kid there, but he was known to do what he could to put up a fight. He had grown up in a family of division, regularly witnessing his father physically abuse his mother. With this, there was an anger within him, a sadness that Elan noticed and wanted to exploit. And so, that evening, a ring session commenced with Phil as the bully. There was fight after fight after fight. In the end, it's been reported that he was beaten up so badly that he fell flat on the floor, and it took an entire 20 minutes before an ambulance was called to help him.
Well, he was fighting what? Just fighting everybody?
20 minutes or so they called the ambulance. They took Phil and they never saw him again. His sister claims, "I thought it was a wonderful place. I thought they were helping my brother. I thought he was coming home. He came home all right. In a box."
Wow.
Elan's official response was that he had regularly faked headaches. The cause of death? A brain aneurysm. And no charges were ever filed against them.
What? Ever?
It's been clear to us from the beginning that Elan is not a place of good.
So they know that happened and they haven't pressed charge.
Humiliation, to beratement, to physical abuse, Elan's tactics were archaic and inhumane. For a school that markets itself on academia, on helping students get their lives back on track, it's crystal clear that this has never been the motive. What I find interesting, though, is that Elan wasn't even the first to utilize this type of therapy, this attack therapy. In fact, it has its roots in a cult that found its footing all the way back in the mid-1950s.
Are we going back in time?
That cult is one by the name of Synanon.
We're going to go back.
With a warrant to investigate reports of child abuse.
In recent years, Synanon began calling itself a religion.
He's 52 years old.
And this is the shit that people possibly caught on to. Imagine the shit niggas never will catch on to, bro. That's the scary thing. Super sneaky niggas.
Deaf in one ear. He's an egomaniac. But one of the wisest persons that I've ever met in my life.
He knows how to get people moving. He creates turbulence.
Gentlemen, until further notice, no member of the California Department of Corrections is permitted on Synanon property unless he has the express permission of Charles Dieterich, Chairman, Synanon.
In early 1958, a man by the name of Charles Dedrick Sr. would found the group in Santa Monica, California. It was intended to be a drug rehabilitation program aimed at delinquents. However, in the years that followed, it appeared to stray from that mission entirely. The distinguishing form of therapy employed by Synanon was something called the game.
This is how this is how Wemby wanted the Spurs to look, but niggas was not going. They all went bald. Hell nah.
Which, in today's terms, is more commonly known as attack therapy. The focus of the game was to break down the social construct of an individual's mind by first allowing them to open up about themselves before commencing an aggressive beratement session, much like we discussed earlier with general meetings. The primary goal was to recreate someone's personality and sense of self by completely demolishing everything they know about themselves before rebuilding them as a newer, subjectively better person. It hinged on the brink of legality while being entirely immoral. And, unsurprisingly, by 1991, the cult would disband due to criminal convictions that caught up to many of their members. The founder also died just 6 years later, leaving behind a dark legacy that, to this day, is known as one of the most dangerous and violent cults that America has ever seen.
That nigga should have rotted in jail a little longer.
The abridged history. To be honest with you, I could make an entire hour-long video on the operations and practices of Synanon, but that's a story for another day. If there's one takeaway tonight though, it's that it unknowingly served as an inspiration and blueprint for other institutions to follow. One of those being Elan, and by utilizing similar practices, they appeared to carry the torch that Synanon was forced to abandon. They knew they had to keep up appearances too, thriving off an immaculate public image spearheaded by the charisma of Joe Ritchie. Before the age of the internet, admittedly this was easier to do. Television documentaries like NBC's For the Child's Own Good were seemingly the only inside look that the public was allowed to gain. However, even they failed to convey the true extent of what happened there. The hush-hush foundation that Elan was built upon initially seemed to be unbreakable. However, due to a rise in public attention that would soon find its way there, it was becoming increasingly apparent that the cracks beneath that very foundation were merely beginning to form.
Yeah. Expose these pussies. Expose him.
Through the late 70s and into the early 80s, reports of the true nature of Elan began to spread by word of mouth from former students. Authorities in Maine reportedly visited the school upwards of 12 times to investigate, however returned with absolutely nothing to show for it. Frustratingly, the operation that Joe Ritchie was running was completely and entirely legal.
Former students applied criticized Poland Spring School. Poland? Thought these niggas was in fucking Portland.
There were no laws in place for facilities like this, so it was allowed to remain in operation without issue. As we touched on, the media was the primary in for outsiders at Elan. However, even they failed to communicate the extent of their operations. While they showed select parts of it, unfortunately Joe Ritchie was given enough airtime to convince the public and the news crew that it was nothing more than their treatment taking place. By dehumanizing the students, emphasizing their delinquencies on national television, he was able to use this notoriety to his advantage, ultimately swaying the public opinion into believing that what he was doing was entirely good. On top of the growing number of alumni, though, came an increase in escapees, which only furthered Elan's unwanted infamy. Over the years, 3 students, a 16-year-old unidentified individual, a 15-year-old Brad Glickman, and a 17-year-old Don Birnbaum would all escape successfully, however would meet wildly differing fates. For the 16-year-old, it's been reported that he ran over 15 miles through the wilderness in the middle of the night. He was eventually caught by an officer, Max Ashburn, and after hearing the boy's story and observing his physical condition, he helped him return home. For Brad Glickman, he was shot. In 1990, after escaping Alon's search parties, he made his way to a house in a small town. Authorities believed that he had a connection to the girl that lived there. However, the homeowner opened fire, ultimately killing him. And for Dawn Birnbaum, she too had escaped the clutches of Alon, eventually finding a trucker named James Cruz who was willing to take her home. A few hours down the road, though, Birnbaum would find that Cruz's true intentions weren't quite so virtuous.
No.
As it turned out, he sexually assaulted her on the side of the highway before strangling and abandoning her body between
Oh my gosh! Bro, what type of dump, bro? So he just... Nigga was just drop, bro. You was working. You was working, bro. You lived your whole life to do that shit. You was working, bro. Just drop her off somewhere, go home to your family, my nigga. What the fuck?
26 and 550 in Pennsylvania. She was discovered by another motorist with a yellow rope tied around her neck and without clothes from the waist down. And from her corpse were tire tracks resembling that of a semi-trailer. Since Birnbaum had crossed state lines, an FBI investigation was commenced for her, and after cross-checking with numerous similar cases that have happened in the area, the truck belonging to James Cruz was deemed as the culprit.
Bitch.
Upon catching up to him and searching his vehicle, authorities were able to find but a single blonde hair that belonged to Birnbaum, effectively leading to his arrest. Much to the school's displeasure, these cases successfully gained ample attention. Joe Ritchie resultingly paid off numerous judges and journalists in hopes of drowning out the negative press. However, outsiders were beginning to catch on that these students were running for a reason. But why?
Crazy, man. All eyes on Nealon.
On the night of October 30th, 1975, a 15-year-old girl named Martha Moxley was out with her friends participating in what they call Mischief Night. This typically involved TPing houses, ding-dong ditching, typical teenager antics. Later that night, Moxley found a liking to a Thomas Skakel, eventually kissing him before the pair decided to venture off.
Bro, cut your fucking chest hair, bro. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
To the other friends in their group, seeing Moxley fall over the Skakel's backyard fence with Thomas was the very last time that they would ever see her alive. Seeing Moxley fall over the Skakel's backyard fence with Thomas was the very last time that they would ever see her alive.
Molly.
The next morning, the Moxley family awakens as usual. They go about their morning routine, however notice that Martha is missing. Upon searching the house for her, they notice a body lying by the tree out in the backyard. They approach it and discover a grim scene. Martha is lying, lifeless with her pants down. Her body appears to have been visibly beaten, and a few feet away from the body, broken remnants of a 6-iron golf club.
What?
This club was eventually traced back to the Skakel family. Autopsy reports claimed that she was bludgeoned and stabbed to death, all by that 6-iron. And since Thomas Skakel was the last person she was spotted with that night, he was the prime suspect in her murder. Due to a lack of sufficient evidence, however, he, among the other suspects, were eventually absolved. And as a
Bro, you get away with anything in the 1970s, bro.
result, the Moxley case, frustratingly, went cold.
Bro, come on now.
3 years later. Thomas's 18-year-old brother named Michael Skakel is arrested for drunk driving. His punishment? Admission to Alon. While there, Skakel was known to be
The fuck? That's a punishment? You just... Oh, probably from his parents, maybe?
outspoken. According to Elan students at the time, he would regularly boast about a girl named Martha and how he sexually assaulted and killed her. One student named Gregory Coleman recalls this vividly, recounting how Michael had gone on record to state that, "I'm going to get away with murder. I'm a Kennedy." The Kennedy reference was alluding to his relation to Robert F. Kennedy, something that would prove pivotal in launching his eventual trial to the national spotlight. At the time of his confession, though, nobody could do anything about it. Given the overbearing nature of the rules set at school, any student that tried to tell someone about this was quickly reprimanded. It would take an entire 22 years before Skakel's actions would reach the public eye. In January of 2000, he was arrested and charged with the murder of Martha Moxley. And due to his relation to the Kennedys, it was a case that commanded the airwaves. Since Skakel's primary vehicle of bragging about his crimes was Elan, this, by proxy, had also thrust the school into the national spotlight. Dozens of students took the stand, exposing the callousness that occurred there. The humiliation, the general meetings, the beatings, the ring, the deaths, all of it was brought into the public eye. Realizing this, Joe Ritchie did everything he possibly could to keep discussion about his operation to a minimum. He eventually took the stand, downplaying any mention of Elan, touting its high success rate, and doing everything he possibly could to divert the attention back to
Put the fries in the bag, buddy.
And Skakel only. But this was only marginally effective, as this was in the 2000s. An interconnected era of information catalyzed by a little something called the internet. Michael Skakel was eventually found guilty of the murder and was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. After serving just 11 years behind bars, he was granted a new trial in 2013, in which he was let go after posting a $1.2 million bond.
How did he have that much fucking money?
Today, he walks a free man. But back then,
I see this nigga, I'm ending. You know what? Never mind.
The cat was out of the bag. The inhumanities committed at the Elan School were documented in one of the most high-profile cases in decades. And because of this, people began talking, theorizing, and investigating, effectively marking the beginning of the end of Joe Ritchie's iron grip on the hundreds of students that were helpless beneath him. But with his weakening grasp on the media surrounding his operation came a different hurdle that Joe Ritchie would soon have to overcome. In June of 2000, he was diagnosed with lung cancer caused by his well-known addiction to cigarettes. And just 6 months later, on the 29th of January 2001, Joe Ritchie would pass away in Portland, Maine at 54 years old. As a result, his second wife, Sharon Terry, would take over operations at Elan. It was clear, though, that due to the increased publicity among the rising alumni testimonies, the idea of Terry having a lot of PR work on her plate was putting it lightly. Throughout the years, numerous changes would be put in place in response to outside criticism of the Elan School. For instance, the ring was eventually forbidden from being used as punishment, and while this was substantially a good thing, the other cruelties would remain. What Sharon Terry was unaware of, though, was that due to the rapid rise in technology, namely the internet, even her reign over Elan would soon meet its demise.
Exactly, like how y'all still doing the same shit?
When the water settled following the Skakel case, mentions of Elan
I'm thinking that nigga gonna die and the shit, everything gonna change. What the fuck?
On various forums throughout the next few years. They would get people talking, however it wasn't quite enough for definite action. By 2010, though, something would change. A website that we all know very well would help spearhead one of the most effective exposed stories in the history of the internet. That website was Reddit. On November 26, 2010, a man named Jeff W., who went by Gazaz My Hero, would make a post titled, Even skimming this once will blow your mind. Most probably think it's made up, but you'd be dead wrong. Within it, he explains that he was an Elan student in 1998, before outlining, in detail, the reality of what took place there. They're mostly points that we've already covered and explored in great detail tonight. But back then, these claims were unbelievable. The school was very much still in operation, so some initially had a tough time wrapping their head around the fact that a place like this actually existed. But then came the comments. The other stories from other alumni with their own experiences. Gazaz My Hero's post carried weight. It was real, and these atrocities needed to be known. Eventually, this thread would rack up over 2,000 likes and 1.4 thousand comments.
Yeah, they can type like that. Why the hell they was at the school?
While this may not have caused Elan's closure outright, it aggressively reopened old wounds.
Come on now. These niggas not missing. They not missing anything. Look at the grammar. Look at the quotations, the periods, the commas. Like, they're not missing anything.
2010 was not 2000. The internet user base was exponentially larger than it had been.
And nigga proofread to the final draft.
The effectiveness of this newfound attention caused a massive amount of backlash that the Elan school had never before experienced. Four months later,
The end game.
on the 23rd of March 2011, the Elan school announced that it would soon be shutting down. Cher and Terry blamed the call on what they deemed to be libelous remarks made about them online. The school has been the target of harsh and false attacks spread over the internet with the avowed purpose
Terry.
of forcing the school to close.
Get fucking sniped,
The
Sharon.
school, unfortunately, has been unable to survive the damage. And on the 1st of April 2011, the Elan school would close its doors for one final time.
So I could have went to that school, bro. 2011? Hope you get fucking sniped, Sharon. In
Officially,
Black Ops.
they blamed it on declining student numbers in hopes of diverting the attention away from the actual cause. But on the outside, everyone knew the real reason. For students, this was unbelievably good news. However, the damage they endured was something that would remain everlasting. It's been reported that numerous suicides have occurred as a result of attendance at Elan. PTSD with alumni is rampant.
I wonder how long
It's
they was at
clear
the
that
school.
The school had done nothing but damage people. A filmmaker and former student named Todd Nilsson, creator of a fantastic Elan documentary named The Last Stop, has gone on record to state that, as a student, he was helped by their unconventional tactics, but he knew the majority of others weren't quite so lucky.
What?
Today, hundreds of stories remain online about the cruelty committed at the Elan school, about the facade they upkept for 41 years.
I was sent there by my father in 2005, who had no idea of the abuse, and stayed there until 2008. When I turned 18 and graduated high school, I did not graduate the program. What? Oh, hold on. I stayed there until 2008. He did not graduate the program. What? So he graduated high school, but he didn't. So he didn't graduate the program, but he graduated high school. Okay. I'm like, nigga, why did you?
Reading through these are
hype it like
eye-opening,
that?
and you can find them on nearly every piece of media and documentation that exists about Elan online. Media.
Sharon says Sharon should be held accountable for Elon stealing parents' safety deposits after bankruptcy. Bro, I forgot. Damn, they was collecting hella bread, like 50,000. Is that not insane? Ain't no way they was broke.
And documentation that exists
Wasn't spending
about
their bread
Elan
on
online. To all of you that have shared your stories, that have opened up about the torment you went through, your voice is the reason that Elan ceases to exist today. This video would not exist without you, and I wish I could say that I feel your pain. But I don't. While there are and have been other facilities like this throughout history, those are another story for another time. The legacy that Alon left behind is a dark one. Knowing the true history of what occurred off Number 5 Road is haunting. And no matter if it forever stands physically, the psychological destruction that it left behind will very unfortunately forever remain.
Yeah, man. RP to the people that did not make it out this weak ass, bum ass, stupid ass school, bro. Insane. Illinois hits Maine. So wait, was this in Chicago or fucking? Hold on, did that shit say Poland, Maine in the beginning and not Portland? Oh no, it did say Portland, Maine. I think he had a typo. Cause the rest of it was saying Poland, Maine. I thought I was tripping. Damn, man, that's tough. Let me know what you're thinking of it down below. On to 100,000, man. It's probably gonna be on the second channel, man. Actually, it's going to.